Hiya folks, JD here, and today we've got this little guy. This is the JD20, no relation. So as we saw a few months ago, we saw the JD11. That was a big photography drone, or as it was labelled up as being a big photography drone, and it styled itself on the DJI Inspire. Now then, this little guy is styling himself on the DJI Spark. Look at this. This is really quite sweet, really quite nice. Little camera in the front, 4 propellers, folding quadcopter, 4 LEDs on each of the motor arms, 2 landing sprigs in the back, rubberized, so it's going to be nice when it lands, it's not going to skid across the floor. The same landing sprigs on the front as well. Now this camera, you can angle it. It has got quite a lot of different variations of angle that you can use. The battery itself is directly in the back and took 2 hours to charge. Hopefully we're going to get 10 minutes of flight out of this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take it up, record a bit of video. I'm not going to record a lot because I want to see exactly how long this does last. Now, this is quite nice. What about the transmitter? And this styles itself on the DJI Mavic transmitter. So, as you've got 2 little thumb holes in the bottom. If you saw the unboxing, you'd see me open this, but I'm going to open it again for the people who haven't watched it. There we go. That is where your phone fits in, just inside there. It is spring loaded, so I've got to pull it out quite a way in order to get that out. There we go, and that just fits back in. Got 2 antennas on the front. We've got a couple of different buttons on this one. Now when we saw a transmitter like this a couple of weeks ago, we just saw automatic takeoff and landing, and we had a load of trim buttons. With this we've got headless mode, return to home, as well as automatic takeoff, automatic landing, and your trim buttons as well. We've got 4 buttons on the top. Now this button configuration is pretty standard. 3D flips, speed increase, take video, photo, as well as then the standard on or off button as well at the front. Now hopefully, I'm really looking forward to taking this guy up. This guy has intrigued me for a little while. So hopefully he's going to be quite good. Come on, let's take him up. Okay, so here we are with the JD20. So all I was doing then, as you saw, is I was just spreading open the propellers, as if they are overlapped a lot, then when they spin around they may not open out. So just to ensure that they do, I've just opened everything out. Now pre-flight checks on this model are a little bit different to any other. There are screws on top of the propellers here. I've just gone through and made sure there was a nice and tight, not too tight, but nice and tight, same as all these other screws underneath here as well, and made sure the camera module is on as well, nice and securely. So that is pretty much everything for the pre-flight checks as far as the drone is concerned. So what I'm going to do now is we'll get our phone out, and then we are going to connect to the Wi-Fi. So let's turn on the drone. Oh, look at that, that's quite pretty. So blue LEDs in the front, green LEDs in the back, and 1 red LED in the back as well as a white LED on the power. That is seriously a lot of LEDs. It's like a little Christmas tree. So let's just wait for the Wi-Fi to broadcast. There we go. So let's connect to that. As with all Android and open Wi-Fi connections, there's going to be a little notification in a couple of seconds. I'm just going to wait for that notification and then click yes. I would like to stay connected. Okay, now got to find YHFPV. And YHFPV is the application for this particular drone. So what I'm going to do is put my rather chunky phone in there. Okay, click play, and then we should have, yeah, video relay. Look at this little lock in the center there, just to show you the motors are locked. That's really quite nice. Okay, let's turn on altitude hold. Let's record some video. Let's unlock. Let's turn on the transmitter, single 1 up and 1 down to bind. Now, as I'm sure you can see with the single 1 up and 1 down motion, all the LEDs now have stopped flashing. They're all totally 100% solid. Alright, so I'm just going to bring both of the analog sticks in together. LEDs flash a little bit. Let's take her up. Wow. Wow, she went up with a bang. Did you see that? Absolutely, whoom, up she goes. Wow, okay, quite loud. Let's get a feel for her. I'm just going to rock her back and forth a little bit for the second. Those LEDs are bright. So, wow, there's a lot of air being pushed down through those propellers then, as she just went over me. So yeah, so far she's okay, but she does travel. So when you stop her and you want to turn, so if you stop pushing forward and then you turn, she still carries on. Her air brakes aren't very good at all. But she still moves around and she is still responsive, very responsive. So she is a little bit louder than I had anticipated. Let's try increasing. Let's increase her speed a little bit. So speed mode 2. And she's, yeah, a little bit quicker. She's still, ooh, her air brakes worked then. Do you see that? Little bit erratic in speed mode 2. Speed mode 3. Not much of a speed difference. Wow, but she is wiggling all over the place. Good God. Ah, she still takes a long time to slow down as well whenever she turns corners in speed mode 3. But she's a little bit quicker and she still takes as long to stop. So that could be quite interesting and dangerous at the same time. But she is, I don't know, I'm quite undecided. She flies really well, look at her. Not, you know, she is quite ballerina-esque. Turns around, but she just uses a wide arc to turn. Her air brakes don't necessarily stop her quickly enough, so she does tend to travel quite a lot. She's wallowing a little bit as well in the higher speed modes. Oh, might be quite an interesting one. See, she is quite, yeah, I don't know, I'm quite undecided. Let's see what her altitude hold function is like. So I'm holding her back a little bit just so I can stay within camera. But look how absolutely, look how jittery she can be. The little motions, and she's all over the place. And this is only in speed mode 1, don't forget. This isn't speed mode 2. She does, see, as long as you give her room, as long as you anticipate where she's going to be moving and you give her room, she will turn around, and she turns around well. But I don't like this massive arc. I thought the Syma X56 had a wide arc. This has got an even wider arc. But she is extremely fun. This is quite a difficult one, this is. This is quite a difficult one. Because she is very much fun. She's not, in this speed mode, just speed mode 1, as I'm flying around, she doesn't feel dangerous. You know, I wouldn't say that she is at all. I'd say that she is on par with the Syma X56W. Absolutely. But just has a much wider arc when she turns. I mean, look at that, and she's still turning, and now she'll go in another direction. And now she'll turn, and then she'll go in another direction. And now she'll turn, and obviously if I banked her as well, then she'd see she cuts a lot finer. It's a lot more of a condensed arc if I bank her as well. I quite like her. I quite like her. I think this is quite fun. I think this is quite fun. And those LEDs are extremely bright. Very, very bright. Oh, really good, yeah. I've got used to that arc now. It's taken me a while, but I've got used to it a bit, and also I'm banking her as well at the same time. So that can hopefully, well, it has actually helped a lot with the turning. So if you bank her, oh, look at that, nice tight corner. And again, bank her, nice tight corner. Come towards me, bank her the other way. Nice tight corner. If you just turn her, she is just going to turn and she's going to travel. But if you bank her as well, oh, lovely. Now our lights are flashing, battery is low. I don't just want to leave this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her down. So come back to me then. Come on, come back to me. And then down we go. And there she lands, and the motors just turn off without any issue. Alright folks, let's get a verdict on this guy. Alright, so thoughts on the JD20. Well, I quite like her. I do. I quite like her. She's quite loud. Not a fan of that. But she handles pretty well. She does. Now, what I was going on about with that big arc is whenever you turn a quadcopter, normally the air brakes kick in and the copter will stop turning and she'll just come straight back to you. I noticed the same issue with the Syma X56W. Now, it doesn't detract that much from the flight, but you do have to be aware that it's there. And when you turn, it keeps on turning. And then it'll catch the breeze and then it'll come back to you. But it does take quite a while for that arc to fully complete. Now obviously you can get around that just by banking the quadcopter as well, so as you're turning and then you're banking the quadcopter, you will come in for a quite nice turn as well, quite nice tight turn. But obviously just be aware that that arc does exist, so when you do turn her, make sure you have enough space to turn. Now I noticed in speed mode 2 and 3 as well, the copter gets a little bit quicker. It's not overly fast, but with that little bit of a speed increase, that arc is still exactly the same. So you're going faster and you've still got to maintain quite a turning angle when you do turn. So obviously banking her does help. Try and use that wherever you possibly can. Now the camera on the front, I noticed, was quite nice just from looking through the app. Obviously we've got some video in this as well. Hopefully this little ticker running down the bottom will let you know exactly what I think of that quality. Now the drone itself is quite well put together. I quite liked it. It's quite sturdy. It feels sturdy through the air. It glides really well. Again, the 360 flips, couldn't get it the 360 flip. Could get it to emergency stop as she fell from the air. And I find that quite confusing. Why have a 360 flip button and an emergency stop button, you know, rolled in together? That is quite confusing. And also your copter could fall from a great height and totally damage itself. Now the LEDs on the motor arms and on the back of the quad were very, very bright, so no problem seeing that at all. Battery life, again, battery life was very good. Had 11 minutes out of this guy on one battery. That did take about 2.5 to 3 hours to charge. Doesn't matter. The good thing about that is though, is that as we've seen with other quadcopters, look there, micro USB, perfect. So I really enjoyed this copter. All in all, I thought it was really good. Obviously be aware of that arc when you are flying her. She's a bit twitchy as well when you take off, but you do need to just rock her back and forth a little bit. Just get a feel for her and get a feel for how far you've got to push your transmission, your transmitter analog sticks, just to see exactly how the quadcopter is going to react. So there we are, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.